Hey guys, how's it going? Brian here from Budget Yugioh, and today I'm presenting my zombie deck profile for August 2019. Now this one's not as budget as some of you guys probably like, but you could definitely take out some of the more staple expensive cards like Super Poly. Well, Super Poly, you want to be competitive, you kind of need it in this deck for going second. But there's other things like, Vampire Sucker, maybe you cut one. But you could probably make this deck for under 100 and still have a pretty solid list. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Zombies is my main deck right now. So I do enjoy playing this deck. Let's start off with the monsters. We got 2 Doom King Ballardrock. He's just the big boss that you want to turbo out in this deck. And really strong for monster negations when he's on the field, and he can always bring himself back when you have a field spells on the field for either player. So that comes up where you're facing a deck that uses field spells and they forget about him. 2 Glow Up Bloom to help special summon him from the deck. This is very good because you have these are the only 1-for-1 targets, and the main thing you want to send off of Unizombie after you have Zombie rolled up for a quick 2800 Doom King coming out. That's pretty intimidating. But we also have the 2 Necroworld Banshee. This is a great card just because it has 2 effects. One to search and activate Zombie World. It doesn't search, so it cannot get Ash Blossomed because it doesn't add it to your hand. It also has the protection effect, so if Zombie World is on the field, they cannot destroy or target it, which it doesn't come up that often, but when it does, it can help add an extra layer of protection. So you won't lose to a random MST or something. And then for the starter cards, we have 3 Unizombie. Probably the best zombie ever printed, just because it can do multiple things for you. It has 2 effects, one to send from the deck to the grave to increase a monster's level by 1, and the other effect discards from your hand to increase a monster's level by 1. So even if this gets hit by, let's say you try to send from deck to grave and then they try to hit you with an Ash Blossom, well, if you still have like Banshee or Bloom in your hand, you can do the backup play of discarding instead, because that negates the first effect, but it has a second one. Now, if this gets hit by Impermanence or Effect Veiler, you still have a level 3 tuner on the board, so I run some other ways to make use of that, so you can still Synchro or Link into something else. So Unizombie is essential. You gotta play 3 of those, and then you gotta play 3 Solitaire to fetch the Unizombie. Personally, I'd rather see Unizombie in my hand just because it's less susceptible to Ash Blossom and Effect Veiler than the Solitaire is, but you gotta play copies of this anyways. And it adds a nice Shiranui engine here with the Spirit Master. So when Spirit Master is banished, he can pop a face-up card on the field, and you easily banish him with the Shiranui style Swallow Slash that we were playing. I'll show you guys later on. And for more zombies, we got 1 Mizuki and then 1 Gozuki. So Mizuki, I'm only playing 1 because you never want to see in your hand, and you don't need to special summon from the graveyard too often. It's nice to get 1 when you have the Omega loop going and you can recycle it every turn. But other than like bringing back a Unizombie or bringing back a Ballardrock, you don't use it too often. And then Gozuki is just extra insurance to make sure we have another target that can dump Glow Bloom if we have Zombie rolled out. And if you're in a grind game, Gozuki is actually a card you want to draw, just because he helps get a card out of your deck that you can use on the spot. And then another target for your Glow Bloom, I'm playing Vampire Fraulein. This card I was thinking of taking out, but it comes in clutch for stalling out games. Certain decks just cannot get over this easily without removal. So this, at the worst case scenario, buys you a turn for you to draw into something. So I think it comes in clutch, plus it has a Go-Yo Guardian effect where you can attack over something and then special summon it back to your side of the field. And it helps enable link plays. if that ever comes up. It's kind of risky to put in attack mode though, because you have to pay life points to add the attack. Hand traps, only playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. So this is the most generic one, and it's a zombie which comes up because it can trigger Ballardrock. So Ash Blossom, you kind of have to play these. If you don't have them, it's worth investing in staples like Ash Blossom, especially in a zombie deck. And the last monsters are 2 Danger Mothman. So I go back and forth between whether I want to put this in or take it out. I'm only playing 2 instead of 3 because I never want to see more than 1 in my hand. And then I don't know whether I like this or not, because if your Unizombie gets stopped by a hand trap and he's still on the board and you Mothman, you can still go into a level 7 or a level 8 depending on what gets hit. And he allows you to dump some clogged cards out of your hand. So in theory he's good, but a lot of the time, I don't know, my opponents seem to always get him out of my hand and then I don't get to summon him. So yeah, it's kind of good just for extending and making sure you can get stuff on board. Alright, and let's go into the spells. Triple Zombie World. Mandatory for a pure zombie deck. So turn everything in the field and grave into zombies. So this disrupts a lot of plays because anything that's let's say you need to link into a Salamangreat Balinx, you can't do it because now your monster is a zombie. So this is really annoying. Plus also against True Draco, they can't tribute summon any other monsters because of they're not zombies. So this is a very annoying card, and you can get it out on turn 1 most of the games. I think I was playing Terraforming before, but it was just kind of not necessary at this point with the Banshees and Unizombies to dump them. But you do want to see Zombie World, or a way to get into Zombie World, turn 1 every time. So 3, Called by the Grave. This is just essential because you don't want to get hit by Ash Blossom or Effect Veiler. And then also it gives you some backup for like disruption for your opponent's play. So I think Call by the Grave is mandatory. I was playing 2 because I didn't want to draw it too much, but I think 3 is the right amount now. Even if you have multiple, you can have one as a counter to hand trap, and then you set the other one for disruption. And then we get into triple super polymerization, which is just, I think it's crazy that this is at 3 because I feel bad when I use it after my opponent summons like 100 things in their turn and I just super poly. We have a couple targets, but because we're playing Zombie World, everything is a target. So if you have Zombie World up, super poly, and then one other card in your hand, this is always live. The only time that would not be live is if they have Imperial Order up, right? But other than that, you can pretty much always super poly away any targets that are problematic. So, and these are kind of expensive, like $10 to $15 each for the common. I think this is ridiculous, but a lot of people are playing this. So if you're playing zombies, I would highly recommend picking up super polys. Alright, so and then we also have 2 instant fusion. So this either lets you get into Thousand Eyes Restrict if you're going second, or if you're going first and you need another way to extend. You can instant fusion and then continue with your synchro or link play. And then the 1-ofs, 1-for-1 and Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is free. Basically it just allows you to play through and continue turn if your opponent does hand trap you. 1-for-1, I don't really like it too much, but if you go turn 1 and you have 1-for-1, it enables you to get that Glow of Bloom and go into Link Karibo. So you do have to play that. Traps. 3, Rivalry of Warlords. This card's so annoying for people to deal with, and that's why you main deck it when Zombie World's up. and then you flip this. If your opponent controls one monster, they can only summon zombies. And if you're not playing against a zombie deck, they just can't summon anything. They can't link into their link monsters. They can't synchro. It's just really good lock, and so your opponent's gonna have to like side in Twin Twisters or something, unless they have a monster that can deal with it. So some decks don't have that, which is kind of annoying for them, but it doesn't hurt us at all. Although it does come up where you have this out, you have Zombie World out, and you have Super Poly. You cannot play Super Poly because we don't have a target that would be a zombie monster in our extra deck. So just keep that in mind. And then traps, we have 1, 2, and 3. Shiranui style, Swallow Slash. When you resolve this card, it is so good because with the you can play a zombie, set this, and then when they do something, you flip it, you pop 2 cards on the field, and then you can banish the Shiranui Spirit Master, which will pop another card on the field, face-up card on the field. And that's so good. If you're, at the end phase, your opponent ends their turn, you can pop everything. So good for disruption. You might end up siding these out if you go second, though. I usually just side out most of the traps and then fill in with other things. So that's the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. We have 2 Vampire Sucker. So Vampire Sucker is good for setting up because you have Unizombie and Ballardrock out from your turn 1 play. You can just go Vampire Sucker, bring back Ballardrock during your opponent's standby, and draw an extra card. This also has a couple other effects that you don't really use, but it can come up, where you can tribute your opponent's monsters for a tribute summon of a zombie monster. So let's say if you had Ballardrock in hand and you got Vampire Sucker out somehow, you could tribute summon 2 of their monsters for Ballardrock. Or this also has an effect where you can special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard to their side of the field and turn it into a zombie, which would trigger Vampire Sucker's effect to draw. You don't really use that, but it might come up if you ever find a situation where that can be useful. I'm playing 1 Avenged Savior. This card's a bit more offensive than Vampire Sucker. So when you battle with this card, you can send a zombie from your deck to grave to decrease your opponent's monster, their attack by 200 times the monster's level that you sent. So if you send Ballardrock, you can decrease their attack by 1600 because Ballardrock's level 8. Or you can just send Banshee, you can send Mizuki, you can even send Bloom, really whatever you need. This is just an extra card that you can use to dump things to the grave. 1 Link Kribo for your level 1 to trigger off your Glow Up Blue. You gotta play one of these. 1 Borlo Dragon. I might take this out because I never really summon it. It's just there kind of like in case I can't get over things some other way. But with Ballardrock's non-targeting removal, you're pretty much getting rid of most things in the game. So I don't know if that's going to come out or not. But I'm playing 1 Nightmare Phoenix and then 1 Nightmare Cerberus. You gotta play a couple generic ones just in case you don't have Zombie World up. And then we have for the synchros, Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. Whenever you summon this and you get an attack off, you're probably going to win. But this is really a win more card because he can easily bump himself up to over 4,000 attack and then also special summon another zombie from the graveyard when a zombie is destroyed in battle. So I like going into that when I can. And then another win more card, Shiranui Shogun Saga. You summon him and then banish Ballardrock from your graveyard. He goes up to 5,800 attack. Pretty crazy. In case you ever need to beat over something, you can go for him. Last synchro is Cyframe Lord Omega. He's the go-to synchro that you will want to bring out when you have Mizuki or Banshee banished, just because you can send it back to the graveyard every turn. And you can also rip a card out of your opponent's hand, which is pretty nice. And then for fusions, we have Thousand Eyes Restrict. You You going second, instant fusion, snatch up one of their problematic monsters. Probably gonna force out a negate or something. So Reaper on the Nightmare. Reaper on the Nightmare is a OG card, and look at that, it's a first edition super from Pharaonic Guardian. Never thought I'd get to play this, but it's there because it's a level 5 zombie. So if you have Rivalry up, you can still instant fusion into this, and then with Unizombie you can make a level 8, or you can just link it. And then Mud Dragon in the Swamp. So this is both a super poly target and an instant fusion target. I have never summoned it off of super poly yet. It really just depends the matchups that you have. But the cool thing about this is it has an effect where it can change its attribute. So if you change it to dark, you summon this off instant fusion, and then you go Unizombie, then now your Unizombie can't get hit by Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence because it can't be targeted since it's a dark. So just keep that in mind, it might come up one day. And then for super poly targets, another Dragon Necro, Nether Soul Dragon. So you have Zombie World up, just any 2 monsters can make this. And he has a pretty cool effect where if he battles, you get a token. 3000 attack, so it's still a strong card. And then Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which this card is pretty deadly against any deck playing dark monsters, so you gotta get yourself one of those. That's it for the extra deck. Let's go into the side deck. So the side deck, I kind of have it with a little more generic cards just because I don't know what people are playing right now. So we have some things to help us go second. We have 3 Dino Wrestler Pancratops. So I think everyone should be citing these. It's great for going second to bait out something. 2600 attack. You can just summon him, wait for them to do anything, or try and attack with it. And then we have 3 Artifact Lancia, just to stop any decks that rely on banishing. And you can activate it from the hand, so going second, you can still use that. And then we have 3 Twin Twister in case any back row decks show up. It's hard to main deck this, but you know there's a lot of decks that are playing heavy back row or they're playing heavy combo. So they're either playing like a ton of traps or they're playing no traps. So I think it's best in the side deck. And then we have 3 Mind Control. Just going second, you can steal whatever they have or force them to negate it. So let's say you open up, you know, after game 2 or 3, you side in Mind Control, you side in Pancratops, special Pancratops, see if they have a response, and you Mind Control, see if they have a response, and then you probably like summon Unizombie or something. So it's pretty good at stopping them. And then the last cards are Triple Eradicator Epidemic Virus. I don't know if I love this card because you have to draw it on turn 1 if you're going in if you sided it in to go first. You have to get Ballardrock out and you have to draw this. And that doesn't happen all the time. And this, you know, if your opponent goes through their combo or they set up their board, this isn't the best. So, but if you do resolve this, you basically win. So that's the deck profile for this month. Be sure to like the video and give this channel a subscribe for more budget Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, peace out guys.